Hello and welcome to this episode of Peak Life. Today we are talking all things Commissioner of Revenue with the city's newest Commissioner of Revenue, Victoria Prophet, a familiar face around here. Victoria, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, the Commissioner of Revenue, I think, does a lot more than people realize. Give me a general overview of what you and your office do from day to day.
Sure, we do as well. I find that from a lot of people, we do a lot more than people think. We have a business tax department that issues all new business license to entrepreneurs or someone starting businesses in Chesapeake. We also do the annual renewal for approximately 19,000 businesses in the city of Chesapeake.
Wow.
And that is an annual renewal. So we have very busy in that time of year of tax season. We also do special tax in that department, which includes food and beverage, admissions tax, which is like your carnivals and movie theaters and that kind of thing, lodging, excavating tax, if you're clearing land. There's a lot of tax that people aren't aware of. That's the business tax department. Then I have the personal property side that assesses all vehicles, motorcycles, boats, airplanes, trailers, motorhomes, mobile homes, camping, heavy trailer, et cetera, et cetera. So we assess all of those in that department. And they're assessed by, we get the values through NADA or a sliding scale if they're not in the NADA book. And that leads to where we had the NADA values of assessment went up significantly this year and was going to cause a huge tax increase for our citizens and taxpayers of Chesapeake. And myself and my department, my chief deputy was awesome in helping this. We got through to City Council on March 15th, voted 9-0, which I thank them for that, proposed for 77.5% relief, tax relief. And we're very proud of that to give our citizens a big break since the NADA assessments went up so much this year.
Yeah.
And then I have an auditing department which keeps all those 19,000 businesses audited, make sure they're in the right tax category. Some are in too low of one and should be paying a higher tax. And then we have the opposite. We can call businesses and be like, you're in the wrong category, you're really paying too much.
Wow.
So we have refunds of that. And so it's broken down into three kind of departments that generates the $200+ million in revenue that funds the city of Chesapeake.
Now, when you're saying that you're involved in these taxes, your department doesn't set the tax rate, or do they? You're just assessing the values of all of the businesses and properties and that sort of thing? Is that how it works?
We do set them,
Okay.
but there is Virginia code. There is what's in, so we have, businesses are run very differently. If you're a brand new business, for 2 years, you can have a $50 renewal fee, just for example, with businesses.
Okay.
After that, your assessment of tax is on how much your gross receipts are.
Gotcha.
So it's different. And then
Okay.
if you're talking into the personal property tax side with all of those entities I just named, they're assessed, the vehicles are assessed on the NADA assessment value. That's what went up this year significantly.
Gotcha.
And so we tax on their assessment. So your vehicle that could have assessed for $30,000 last year, this year may assess for $37,000. And so your tax is significantly higher. So we were able to get that 77.5 tax relief for our citizens, which I'm really happy about.
That's great, because that is the portion that is under your guys' control, right?
yes.
You know, you
Yes.
kind of have to take what these assessments are, but then you guys took that step to kind of help us out.
And
a
that's in
little
the
bit.
Virginia code. It
Okay.
takes, it's in concurrence, it's the Commissioner of Revenue's office in concurrence with the City Council. So,
Okay.
so the Commissioner, it takes both parties. So the Commissioner of Revenue presented the proposal to City Council on March 15th, and I'm very happy to say they voted it 9-0 to give our
Yes.
citizens that relief.
Well, I'm a Chesapeake citizen. I'm very happy as well. Can you help us understand? We often get a lot of confusion between your office and the treasurer's as to who does what. Can you help us understand the difference there?
We do all of the taxing.
Okay.
So we do all the assessing and all the taxing. We generate all the revenue for the city, 200+ million, as I said. The treasurer's office does the billing and the collecting. So they bill our assessment, and then they have a collections department that there are people who don't pay their tax, so they
Sure.
have a collection. So they bill and they collect.
Okay.
And we generate revenue not just from the business and side and the personal property side, but we also have a DMV Select and City Hall that generates revenue for us and for the city. We can do everything in the Select office that a regular DMV, and you're in and out. except for your IDs, driver's license, births and death certificates, and like large dealer transactions. Other than that, we can do anything. And we get a lot of compliments. I have a wonderful DMV
Yes.
staff, and we get a lot of compliments, a lot of help. They're very, very customer service friendly, get them in and out, get their needs taken care of. We also do state income tax. So I have a window at state income tax. So we offer to individuals, not businesses, free state income tax preparation. As long as your federal tax is already done and you bring the documents they need. We also have a state income tax window where we offer free to our citizens. We also can collect the state estimated tax for our citizens as well.
Okay. So it sounds like you must have a lot of very close partnerships with other entities throughout the city. You know, like we just talked about treasurer, how they do the billing and collecting for you. What about the real estate assessor? Do you work with them at all, or are they completely separate?
They're separate.
Okay.
They used to a little more in the past. Right now, all we do is when my department gives somebody a tax relief for whatever reason, and I can tell you about all the relief programs we have.
Yeah.
Then we just notify the real estate assessor's office that so-and-so got a tax relief, and then they code their account. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's all we do with the real estate assessor. They have
Okay.
their own.
Well, tell me about some of that relief. I'm sure that's
and
part of the funnest part of your job.
Yeah, it's nice to tell people that, you get a break on taxes because we need the taxes to run the city, but it's nice when people can get a break on that.
Yeah.
A large relief program we have is for our military. So we have a military tax relief. We're a large military community. And we have a real estate tax relief program that is a disabled veteran exemption that's done through the VA or Veterans Affairs. They have to be 100% service connected or unemployable, totally or permanent disability. They get 100% relief. Also for our KIA, which is killed in action, the spouse of that active duty military, they get the tax relief. It's right now in code. They have to be killed in action on the job with a hostile environment. And I know that we're trying to get some of that changed because we recently have had some killed in training, which is still related, but the code right now reads that. So working on General Assembly to maybe get the wording on that a little different.
Yeah.
Then the veterans also get the personal property tax relief on the vehicle side. And so they get full relief, active duty, and then they also get a 9-cent. See, the tax rate is $4.08 on every 100 for vehicles. They get that full 100% relief, but they also get a tax on other vehicles at just 9 cents instead of 4.08.
Wow.
As long as their name is on the title. So if you were a daughter, a spouse, a niece, or someone living, and so if your name is on the title, you, along with the veteran, you would get that relief as well.
That's incredible.
And that's a lot for the military.
Yeah.
We also have the elderly. We want to take care of our elderly in the city. And the elderly, if you're over 65 years old and or disabled, you get it and you meet our parameters. Your assets cannot be more than $350,000. That doesn't include the residence you live in, though. And it's on 3 acres or less, and you live in the home more than half the year. So we still accommodate our snowbirds. So as long as they live in the house more than half the year, they qualify for elderly tax relief. We also have a handicap relief. So if you have a handicap license plate and you have some kind of equipment, whether it's a lift or a permanent adjustment to your vehicle, because of the handicap, you get tax relief as well.
Wow.
We also have tax relief for our clergy and our pastors and bishops and all of those. If they have a vehicle that is used primarily for the ministry, then they get that as a tax relief as well.
Goodness. So what if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, I might qualify? Should they just call your office?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And we talked a little bit about this before we got started, the idea that you are a constitutional officer. So it's very different from a, say, department head or, a department within the city. What does it mean to be a constitutional officer? How is that different from departments in the city?
It's very different because the constitutional offices, and we have 5 in Chesapeake, so the Commissioner of Revenue, the Treasurer, the Clerk of Court, the Sheriff, and the Commonwealth's Attorney. We have 5. So we are elected positions. We are elected by the citizens. We're elected by the citizens of Chesapeake to serve in our capacity. So We are technically not City of Chesapeake employees because we're elected. We're more, in that constitutional office. Whereas the department heads in the city, whether it's of HR, budget, finance, city manager's office, city attorney's office, they're all hired by the city and they work for the City of Chesapeake. So it's a difference of being elected or being hired.
Okay. And so my rank, me as a city worker, I inevitably answer to the city manager. You answer directly to the people? Is that kind of how you would put it? Okay.
Yeah, it's who elected you in. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Victoria, what else have we not covered about Commissioner of Revenue that you want to make sure people know?
Well, I'm very happy that I was able to tell about all the reliefs. That gives me joy we have a lot of people that come in and we're able to help them, especially if they have, financial difficulties. And to educate the city and our citizens on all of the different things we do, whether it's business tax, personal property, DMV, state tax, auditing, just to let them know everything that my office does. I have 45 employees and staff in my office. Wow. And we have the main branch at City Hall, which covers all of this. We also have 3 other branches in different boroughs. So I have a branch in South Norfolk, I have a branch in Deep Creek, and I have a branch in Western Branch. So they also can do most of what we can do. So and if not, they get it to us, but you can go to any branch if you live in those boroughs and ask about any of these relief programs, as well as take care of your vehicles, your personal property, your business license, whatever it is they need.
Wow. It sounds like you guys really keep yourselves busy.
It's a very busy office.
Victoria, thank you so much for helping us understand more about your office, and thank you for all that you do here at the city. We're going to send people to your website, have them give you a call if they have any questions, and we just really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
That does it for this episode of Peak Life. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.